Welcome into episode number 89 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host Stephen Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, Ben Wilson at our Trading Cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors and for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central, 1 Korean.
On YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live, and now live on Twitch and Breakers.tv. You can always follow us follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We just hit over 2,000 followers, so thank you all that follow us on Twitter. And we're available as a podcast like everywhere. And then check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Guys, what's up? We have a special guest tonight. We're going to get to Jackson in a second, but boom, we're coming out with a new intro. It sounds like wrestling music. I feel like taking somebody down on a ladder or something, whatever they do in wrestling.
Hey, we don't need to hear what you do in your spare time.
Hey, I'm out there in the backyard wrestling world of Sacramento. So
why not do it Saturday since,
we got nothing else to do.
Yeah, we got nothing else to do anymore, so maybe just have a Royal Rumble in our backyard.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I don't understand that. Yeah, we had our local card show that was first Roger Craig backed out this morning, and then this afternoon, or just actually 15 minutes before the show went live, I got a text that show's been canceled. Disappointment all around. But special, we're going to make it up. That our special guest tonight, Jackson Chesher, he's at Prism Hoops. If you don't know him, he hails from Des Moines, Iowa. He's a second-generation collector, and he's a self-proclaimed flipper who flips to fund his collection. Quite a bit of us do that. What's up, Jackson? How we doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm really honored that you would make a brand new intro just for me. So
yeah, right.
I feel
you come on
to be here.
We have to do it up big with the shiny stuff we're going to talk about. Just a little background. I mean, I think we've been following each other for a little while, but we really started talking this past summer about. I started bugging you about Prism and how to collect and kind of getting back into basketball. As my Kings were supposed to start to be better, and they're looking upwards, but the game just got canceled.
I had high hopes for them this year. I really did, Shep.
Yeah. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to get back into this. And what do I need, look for? And he gave me some great ideas. And so I reached out to you a while ago. And he said, why don't you come on the podcast? Like, I'm not sure if I want to. Came back at you. So, hey, let's do it. I think it's going to be fun.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, because basketball is exploding. And I don't think we all understand it. Even people that collect basketball that are in it all day long, I don't think they understand what the hell's going on. Right, it's popping off, but we're going to get to that. So tell us a little bit about your collecting history. How did you start? What's the background?
I got started collecting honestly, as long as I can remember, I've collected. My old man sold cards at shows and flea markets and this and that when I was a little kid, kind of late 80s, early 90s, kind of in the peak of that era. And he was a big San Francisco Giants fan, so I latched on to Will Clark. Will the Thrill was always my guy, so I was a big Will Clark collector for, still to this day. That's who I collect real hardcore. Recently here, though, just kind of fell out of love with Topps and kind of got more into the basketball product, especially with Prism and this and that. And then, and I was just kind of collecting it for a little bit, buying blasters here and there. And I could never buy it at the LCS because I never understood why it was so expensive there. And then I started looking on eBay and I'm like, holy smokes, this stuff is outrageous price-wise, So I just kind of started focusing more and more on that. And as far as that goes, I'm a big Nikola Jokic collector. I'm a Denver Nuggets fan, and he's kind of our main guy right now. And his stuff's pretty hot. I enjoy collecting his stuff, so he's the guy I go after. And then, I got rookies I set aside here and there, but typically I don't stash guys for the long haul. Michael Porter Jr., who's a Nugget, he's really the only guy that I'm doing that for right now. More or less just kind of putting together Prism sets is like my other collecting goal besides Jokic. I'd say I'm about 75% of the way through with that. I've got 15, 16 up to today, minus maybe 5 cards, and then 12, 13. I'm kind of hitting hard right now, and just a few from 13 to 15 too. So
do you have Jonas?
Nope. That's probably going to be the last one. I was hoping maybe he'd have a short exit in the playoffs this year, and I could scoop one up relatively cheap in the summertime. But boy, with if those tuning in haven't heard the news by now, the NBA season's been suspended, so that just throws a whole nother wrinkle into what's going to happen as far as the collecting goes.
With presumably hockey shortly to follow.
Yeah, that it's sad. And in the tournament, I mean, in March Madness, I mean, they're going to play without fans this year, and we were supposed to have it here in Sacramento, and very disappointing, not only for the fan base and the players, because some of these teams might only get in this year and get that experience once. And I've been, and it's crazy, but the disappointment of the cities that are hosting these events losing out on all that revenue, plus the employees. Right, because you're going to have people, staff, and working. The working man's really getting hammered on this, because what's going to happen is they're not going to be needed for the NBA games, NHL games, for the college basketball games, and so what are they going to be doing? So it's crazy what's going on. But we're going to talk about happy, fun stuff here, because that's what we're doing. We're talking about men on cardboard. Some are shiny, some are not.
A short addition to that, I did see that apparently Mark Cuban's putting a plan in place to pay the workers, the on-site arena workers.
Oh, well, awesome. Because
for at least the Mavericks.
Well, yeah, and I think that most of these owners aren't hurting for dollars coming in. So you probably come at basketball. So where are you buying your products? Like I've seen like you've had cases before, boxes and singles. Where are you getting this product?
eBay typically, there's always the stuff that you're searching for. I want this guy's card of this year. I usually start there because that's, kind of your pick of the litter for the most part. But around here, we got several kind of small card shows that, I can usually hit about 2 to 3 a month between here and Omaha and a couple other small towns around here. Basketball isn't really the hot thing in Iowa. It's a lot more football and baseball, and so those guys still know that basketball is hot, and they're after Zion and Ja. So I do pretty well kind of picking up the leftovers that they have with your middle of the road guys. And then I love to go searching through the singles boxes at the LCSs too. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I was just out there trying to put together some stuff for my 12-13 Prism set, and come across 3 different years of Kristaps Porzingis silver or hollow Optic cards, and just stash those away for 50 cents a piece. And hey, if they make a run in the playoffs, that'll do something for you.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. And I mean, is there, when you find like unopened product, are you seem like a collector, you sit building sets and going after players. Are you holding on to any product of this stuff? Or are you just busting it? And
I'm holding on to some retail. I bought a case of Hobby when Prism dropped the day it came out, and I sold it this morning, but haven't been paid yet, and then the season was suspended. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens with that. So that was something that I originally didn't intend to hold on to it all that long term, but people were so scared away of the original price per box, because I wanted a couple boxes out of it myself, but then the price just kind of forced me to sell it as a case. And but as far as I try to set aside like 5 blasters of this year's Prism and Optic just to kind of hold on to it. Just out of curiosity, I looked up a Giannis's rookie year 13-14 blaster, and I think they were going for $500. I don't know what they were selling, but I mean, just goes to show you what holding on to that stuff can really do. People love to rip this stuff and all that, but right now, to me, it seems like if you've got the patience to hold on to wax, especially with basketball on that higher end product, man, that's a good investment.
why do you believe basketball cards have just exploded? I feel like in the last 12 to 15 months, it was all of a sudden, it was like just pedal to the metal. And every month we were kind of doing a little bit more than we were doing the month before. Now I feel like we're doubling it weekly.
Yeah, and I agree completely. I think that a lot of that has to do with the NBA being very good at promoting their game internationally. And I don't think it was a mistake that they went after a company like Panini to do the licensing, considering that they're I think, Italian-owned company. So I think that was probably a strategic move on their behalf to, try to expand themselves globally. And then with the international players that are coming into it too, I think that we're really getting just a lot more people from different countries who are involved. And I mean, I'm always selling stuff on that eBay International Sellers Program that's going, usually just send them to an airport, but I mean, they go to all over the world. So it's not just people here in the States driving the popularity of it. I think it's the worldwide craze, and baseball isn't popular worldwide. Football isn't popular worldwide, but basketball is.
Definitely. Do you think with like Zion raw base cards hitting over $200 this last week, Giannis is like 2,000 and Tatum raws are up to 50 plus now? I mean, is it time to cash? If you're sitting on, say you have a couple of each, is it smart now to say, hey, listen, let me sell half of what I have and then come back when the bubble goes back down and rebuy a couple of them and make a few bucks?
Well, I'm not here to give anybody strategy or advice or anything like that as far as what they're going to do with their collection, because I just think you got to play it, with your gut. But me personally, I've been thinking exactly what you're saying, with the way these prices keep going up and up, can they continue to go up and up? And so lately I've been kind of selling off the base because that stuff's so hot. But like, I was really lucky this year and pulled a silver Zion from Prism and a hollow from Optic. So I think I'm going to hold on to those for the long haul because I've been doing really well on their base cards and stuff like that. But right now, the way that those base cards are, gosh, I think it's time to move those. But then again, I sold a bunch of Lucas for $40 and thought I was doing great. So,
that's what's crazy too, is like, like if you look back and 12-13 had a double rookie class, right?
Yep.
And then 13-14 was awful. Everybody hated that class because it was Anthony Bennett, Oladipo, and some other guys, and Giannis came later. And then 14, 15, 15, 16 all came out. Yeah. 17, 18 got kind of popular because of the class. But every year they've made more and more and more. There's been more retail and more parallels. And we're right now, that there's more 1920 than they made of set in 1819. But the prices are crazy. And to me, it's like something's got to happen at some point where everybody's got to realize that, because I don't think the $200 price point on Zion can hold that when there's so much of that product out there. If you really look at all the parallels they've put out. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I agree completely with that. And I think that this year is kind of a perfect storm of where, like, Luka and Trey really hyped up the game last year. And then this year with Zion, he had so much hype. It was still in college, and then he just became like this huge hype train that just couldn't be stopped. And I don't see anybody doing that next year, but at the same time, I just can't see things going back to normal either. So I think you will see prices come down a little bit, but I wouldn't imagine that they would go back to, 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, but you got to look. I mean, right now, if you don't pull John Zion, you're like going, like a lot of people are going, oh, this is trash. I got busted. There could be some of these other guys in here, Hunter, Culver. I mean, there could be a handful of guys that pop later that aren't getting the run right now. So it's one of those things I would sit on them. But let's do this. So we have Prism, Optic, Select Basketball, and Hoops. If you were going to rank them in your favorite order, what would they be? Because there's been a lot of talk lately. Optic might be coming up on Prism, and then Select was like ridiculously overpriced, I believe, this last week. So
I'm not crazy on Select. I've never collected it, to be honest with you. I think Hoops is a nice product for your beginners to get into, your kids to get into, stuff like that. As far as Prism and Optic, I mean, look at my tag, it's Prism Hoops and this and that. I obviously lean towards Prism, but this year I like Optic from a visual standpoint much better. I wasn't crazy about the look of Prism this year, and I think Optic just I think those are some really clean looking cards, and I was happy to see Optic as a whole make the jump that it did prior to this basketball season, because last season and throughout the summer, I mean, I sold a Trey Hollow rookie last summer for $10, and I mean, that wasn't a bad price at the time.
No.
I didn't feel bad about getting that price, but people just weren't into Optic until, like, I think people got really hungry for it because there was so much anticipation for Prism coming out that I think they just had to gravitate towards something else.
Yeah, it kind of forced them. Hey, I can't afford Prism, but I can afford Optic, which I think brings up that.
Yeah.
So, we have these collegiate products come out, like Collegiate Prism basketball dropped. And is it worth, in your mind, is it worth collecting it all if you're not a fan? Like, if you're not a Duke fan, you're not a KU fan, you're not a fan of the Longhorns in down Texas, is it worth collecting that product, or do you think that it has any collectability after launch?
I think it's worth collecting for a real quick flip, and I think it's worth collecting if you're a Duke fan, a KU fan, something like that. But I wouldn't hold on to it as a long-term investment at all. It works good on a quick flip because, I mean, I saw Zion Silvers were going for $200-$300 when it first dropped, but I mean, you can get them for probably $50 now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so give us some advice. If somebody wanted to hop in the craziness with basketball right now, with products like Prism or Optic or even Hoops, what would your advice be to someone that's looking to jump in right now, like when it's, at March Madness?
The thing that I would suggest to anybody is do your homework first, because there's kind of like a lot of anomalies in the card collecting world, basketball specifically. Like, silvers hold so much value over like some higher numbered cards. I wanted to talk about this as an example. My guy here, Nikola Jokic, his silver Prism rookie card books for like $300. I know that in 2015-16 the print run for silver seems to be less, but I think it has to be at least 1,000 minimum, just from what I see, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's more. This is his blue, a team colored parallel to 199, and that books for like 150. And when I bought this, I got it for $100, and I was going after a silver, but I was like, oh geez, I can get this for $100. It's numbered to 200. It's got to be a better card, right? But it's not always the case.
Yeah, that's what I'm building. I think we've talked about this. I was building a rainbow from last year of Bogdanovich of the Kings, and then this year Buddy Hield. And then I got nuts, and I go, well, hell, I'm going to go back, and every year I'm going to pick a certain Kings player to do so. And I think the first year there's like four cards. There's the base, and then there's like 3 parallel. And now in 1920, I mean, it's like 40-something odd parallels. And so I'm like, how much more of the base did they actually make to fill all these boxes to get all of these different parallels out? Because, 300 base cards at X number of parallels, and it's crazy to me.
Well,
so
that's assuming all the parallels are even packed out, which we know that's not going to be the case. It's just it won't.
No, yeah, I know. Not all the 299 are going to be out there, but you got just do the math. If you round down even 100 off of them, it's still quite a few. Real quick before we end this, who are some under the radar players to watch? Some guys that I know we have the season suspended right now, but maybe this at the end of the season or the off season to look for that might be like a player where it's like, hey man, this guy's about to break out. If you're looking to do like buy him at 5, sell him at 10 to build up and go buy your PC guy, who's a player or two to look for?
I'm liking the way that the Pelicans are looking, not just with Zion. They got a couple other good young guys on that team. Lonzo Ball stuff right now is relatively inexpensive, considering what his potential is in some people's minds. And then they got 2 other rookies on that team from this year, Jackson Hayes and then Keel Walker-Alexander. And both those guys are talented players that I think could really do something. Another guy I like is Sekou Demboya from the Pistons. His stuff was really, really hot earlier in the season, and Pistons just kind of been a mess, and he kind of fell out of favor. I think I saw he even got bounced down to the G League, but his stuff's gone way down again. You can have his silvers for about 20. So I think that's a good buy there too. And one thing I would suggest to these people who are ripping a bunch of Prism looking for Zion and Ja, when you see these no-name silver rookies, just put them away and save them for a rainy day. What's $2 or $3 today, compared to potential $2,000 down the road in like a Giannis type of example. So, so many guys are just looking to make back pennies on the dollar for what they've ripped, to just kind of, make up for
I bought quite a bit of retail in November. I think the last time I actually saw Prism at retail was Black Friday, and so since then, like I went through and I was like, hey, I'm gonna sell all the base, the silvers and the parallels I find, except for rookies, and any rookie card I have too. I'm just gonna stash it away in a box for both the years, because you just never know who's gonna pop. So. We always ask everybody, this is our question we ask everyone before we end the interview. If you'd only own one card that you currently own, what card would it be and why?
One card that I currently own?
Yeah, or
that I don't own.
Either way, whatever way you'd like to answer.
Well, I was kind
one
of prepared
card
for this question. Yes, other people. So if there's one card that I could have that I don't have, it would be the Jordan rookie, a PSA 10 pristine. I would even take, 2 or 3. I just love to have that card. To me, that's the iconic basketball card. And then my other one would be what card I'd like to pull, and that would be a card that I already own, but that's the Will Clark Donruss Elite Signature Series.
Nice.
And I to this day have about 6 boxes of Donruss in the closet, and I regularly rip it, just hoping to rip that myself one time, because that was a big goal of mine as a kid. But.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very nice. I love that. Those are good answers and very acceptable. Well, hey, Jackson, we appreciate it. Everybody, make sure you're following Matt Prism Hoops. Let him know you saw him here on About the Cards podcast. Really great basketball knowledge. I mean, we talked tonight about collecting basketball and really what's going on. And I can tell, like, we made some trades back and forth to help each other out. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us tonight. And we'll have you on again soon.
I appreciate you having me on. I got a dog to go strangle now. I apologize for the noise in the background. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, yeah, it's better than Steph screaming in the microphone for his wife to come and do something. Hey, Angela!
Hey, Angela!
Or, sneezing in the mic or whatever. So, hey, again, Jackson, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon, bud. So, guys, I know I kind of dominated that, but I love talking basketball cards, and he's been – there she is. What's up, Angela? He's been such a great resource for me and a lot of other folks in the hobby about collecting basketball and being there. So that'd be really great follow and doing it. So let's hop into the week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 104. We had Cartoon 91, Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer, shortstop of the Tigers, sold a few shy of 2,500. Cartoon 92, Kirby Yates, pitcher of the San Diego Padres, sold 1967. Kind of what we expected, right?
Yeah. Nothing too terrible. I mean, yeah, again, still the off season, and now it's going to be interesting to see, as we touched on, the NBA season being suspended. We don't know for how long. Does Major League Baseball get delayed? this on-demand stuff might be affected because, yeah, it's probably going to be the first thing to go, I would imagine, off of a lot of people's buys. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm thinking if they keep having weeks like this, like I know they're still making money, but it's like, come on, let's put out somebody actually like really collects. I mean, even I know I collect Brett. He had a crappy number. Like, we got to put somebody out into this, that people are trying to go after him. And Jordan had a semi-decent number, but it's like, let's put two guys out in the same week, not a Hall of Famer and some average at best pitcher for the Padres, right? So anyway, we also had 2020 Panini Donruss Baseball, 1920 Panini Select Basketball, and 19 Panini Encased Football. So those were the big releases last week. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 105, card 293, Didi Gregorius, shortstop of the Philadelphia Phillies, and card 294, Adrian Morjan, rookie pitcher of the San Diego Padres. Whoop-de-doo.
I'm muted still. Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Adrian Morjan,
right?
something to that effect. Yeah.
Morjan? Yeah. I don't know. Another week of like, really? I know it's Didi's first card probably as a Philly.
Pretty sure it is.
But in a back-to-back Padres, back-to-back Padre pitchers. Like, if you're going to do two Padres, why wasn't Hosmer one of them?
No, yeah, I mean, Will Myers, somebody that's got any name recognition whatsoever. But you just mentioned it in your last breath. You have, no names relatively speaking, right? You're going to follow it up with more guys. I mean, Gregorius has had a decent career this far, but not enough to impact driving sales. When we've seen guys like Raleigh Fingers and George Brett and Alan Trammell that have had moderate numbers, these guys were very collectible in their heyday. Maybe not Fingers as much, but Brett was a superstar. Trammell was maybe a one-off. It's not that exciting. Back-to-back weeks. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
so you naturally got to address whether the fact that that's an A's card or not.
No. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. So these are the guys. Listen to this is the list of the Padres. I mean, the Padres are up to 10 cards. Chase Headley, Christian Villanueva, Austin Hedges, Francisco Meja, Will Myers, Luis Urias, Tatis Jr., Gwynn, Chris Paddock, and Kirby Yates. I mean, you got Gwynn and Tatis Jr., I guess maybe Will Myers, but after that, like, I don't know, man. They've had some.
Urias was supposed to be someone, and so was Francisco Mejia.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that those guys are rookies, and that's fine. But like, right. Chase Headley, I mean, Hedges, you went back-to-back catchers with the Padres. In these pitchers, it just, I don't know. To me, it's just, I don't understand where the list of players they're coming, like what they're picking from, if they're just going off someone's fantasy baseball team at this point. So, and hey, Bean, I know I don't care about Hosmer either, but would you rather have a Hosmer or a Kirby Yates come out? No. I mean, I'd much rather see a Hosmer come out. Hell, I'd much rather see a San Diego Chicken come out. Huh? Or, I don't know, a Randy Jones, who actually like won a Cy Young, or maybe a Dave Winfield, God forbid, right? Anyway, I mean, we've spent a lot of time on this. We're going to move on, but check out Topps Living Staff for full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively and set by team and position. And then we're going to hop into 2020 Topps opening day. Baseball drops today. $27 a box for now. 36 packs per box, 7 cards per pack, 36 inserts. So a pack and an insert a pack. It's a 200 card base set, maybe. It's a condensed version of Series 1 with some previews from Series 2. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. Debuting the insert Walk This Way, celebrating walk-off home runs, which is pretty neat. Mascot inserts are back, plus mascot patch relics out of 99 with autographs, and also autographs with mascots. Dugout peaks are short print inserts that come. They're among the toughest pulls in the product. 2020 Topps MLB sticker collection has some preview inserts We also heard another product has some preview stickers. And then opening day relics used some swatches from while diamond relics have dirt taken from the player's actual home stadium. There's also autographed diamond relics. And Luis Robert from Brent and Becca. Looks like Luis Robert makes his rookie card debut in 2020 Topps opening day as a late edition as SP card number 201. That fall 2 per hobby case, or 1 in every 10 boxes, or 1 in every 360 packs.
Sure. But
how does I want to know? So real quick, how does he have a rookie card without debuting?
Well, it's not hockey.
Well, but Top said that they have to debut at a certain time to get a rookie card. And I put this on Twitter, and somebody goes, well, how did Shohei have it that year he came out in 17? I was like, yeah, how the hell that happened? Because we asked him at the Q&A, and they said, hey, they have to debut by such a certain time. But I guess they're just assuming he's gonna be up, I mean.
Well, he signed that massive extension, so yes, the assumption is he's made the opening day roster by default. And we take that for what it's worth. It is interesting that the way the card stock is, first off being different, second off affecting the overall condition is definitely interested. But I think it was Ryan Cracknell, I believe, that tweeted out earlier the first one sold for $10.
No, it was a listed starting price at $9.99 or buy it now for $50.
Is that what it was?
Somebody was able to pull the closed sale and was sold for $50.
Did it? Okay. Well, see, and that's the thing is that going to be the going rate? Brent Williams had also tweeted out, I myself saw a Matt Olson walk this way super short print insert. There was a whole list of all the super short print inserts, and it was a buy it now for $2, $3 each. And Brent cautioned, he goes, be careful because a lot of these inserts you're buying in pre-sale are not going to get filled. Sure enough, I got the list from him of what was included in the Master Team set. That wasn't. I went back to look, and that entire listing had been pulled.
Yeah.
So,
Brent said there's a lot of printing. Like you said, Ben, there was it was a different card stock. There were some cutting issues where it had like rough edges on some of these cards. Why try to shove them in this? And now these boxes that were $27 that no one really truly were hunting down or cared about, they'd pick it up or open it if they saw it. Now, dude, what do you think that's going to do? These boxes are going to go for $50-$60 for somebody to try to go after this one card?
So I was talking to Brent in private yesterday because this is sold as what? A kid's product? This is a low-end product.
$1.99.
And I had said, he showed me what was going to be included in the master set. I said, hey, would you mind giving me a second mascot card? Because I need one for my team set. But Bentley had a really cool interaction with Stomper at FanFest and made a couple of local newspapers as a result. And, he collects the mascot cards. And Brent's like, I don't know if I'll have an extra for you because they're tougher to pull. And based on how many cases Brent opened, I mean, he's got a finite amount. But that's the thing is, it shouldn't be, if this is marketed towards kids, these celebration cards, these mascot cards, anything that's going to attract a younger collector to opening these packs. But these super short prints are selling for $60. The first Jesus Luzardo popped $50. The first dugout peaks, $70. I saw Matt Chapman. It's like, there's not a guaranteed hit in a box. I mean, this is not a kid's product whatsoever. So anybody who argues otherwise can stuff that because it really is not.
Well,
yeah, I just like 1 in 4 retail boxes.
Yeah, I'm real quick. I just look at my distributor, and last year they had opening day through, I would say, almost the summertime. I look right now; it's sold out. And it wasn't sold out 2 days ago when I last looked at what was in stock there. It's crazy. Like I want to know if you guys can do this on the fly. Pull up and see on eBay if what a box might be going for, even blowout. I'd be interested to see if it's gone up over like the 27 because I pulled these prices. I always pull these prices like Monday or Tuesday when I'm finishing up the show notes. So they're pretty accurate when we go live, right? I mean, maybe it fluctuates $1 here or two, but I'd love to see what they're running for now. But to me, it's nuts. And like Ben said, it's really screwing. It's not screwing. I can't even talk tonight. It's really staring away from kids, which this is meant to help. This and Big Leader are meant to help them kind of go and be able to afford to buy a pack or two. Not that they want to collect it, but that's kind of what it's built for.
It's kind of like a demo set.
Yeah. What do you guys think though? That the Robert's going for I think about $100 right now on eBay. But what do you think? The true like if you looked at it, what's a reasonable price for that card?
So once everything dies down, and the reason I say this is, the first week everything's out, it's going to be super expensive and it's ridiculous. But I have opening day cards of Joey Votto and Clayton Kershaw from the rookie years, and I might be able to sell them for $10. That's from the Ass Crack team. They said that that's not Didi Gregorius's first Philly card. There's a throwback tweet. Throwback Thursday, rather.
Yeah.
Card.
Well, yeah, you can get technical about that because Topps Nows and all these on-demand stickers used to be the first one that when stickers was a much earlier.
Speaking of stickers,
hold on. Speaking of craziness,
what do we got on that?
Sold out.
See, and I was looking forward to the card show this week because I know our LCS drops them for like $20, and it's a fun rip with Bentley. It really is. Yeah. And are you going to get a hit? No, probably not. The odds are some people are, obviously, if it's 1 in 4 boxes. Are you going to get a super short print? Probably not. Are you going to get a complete set? No, you won't. Not out of one box.
I opened a couple boxes last year, and I pulled a Jeff McNeil rookie autograph, and it paid for both the boxes. Because, that's how – his autographs weren't all that expensive, but that's how short they were to be able to do that. I just yeah. And the LCS has to kind of buy that from Topps and from the distributor to get other stuff that they want, and that's why he always blows it out. But sure, I doubt he's doing that.
Yeah, it's just we've gotten in discussions. I know I have personally. I'm sure you guys both have as well. When the topic of young collectors, kids in the hobby, they're all geared towards wanting the hits and the silver prisms of Luka as well. It's just what it is. They don't want this lower end stuff. A lot of team and set collectors do, but the bottom line is so much of the stuff in opening day is some of the hardest stuff to come by because first off, not as much of it is being opened. And when this stuff does hit, it's super hard to come by. I passed on a Chris Davis dugout peaks last year for $35 because I refused to pay that much for an insert, not a short print, an insert. And it was print run, I think it was like whatever, 20 or something, 25. And it inevitably sold, and it took like 2 months before another one finally popped that I was able to acquire at a much cheaper price. I think it cost me like $20, which is still outrageous for an insert.
Yeah.
It's like this stuff should not be short printed. This stuff should not have – not everything has to be chrome. Not everything has to have parallels. Not everything needs to be short printed. Opening day is one of those.
If you want on box, David Adams has them still for $27.95 a box, and you can get 10 of them.
And that's probably about fair. What it has gone comparable to previous years, that should be what they sell for.
Yeah, under $30.
A basic product set out. All it really has outside of the harder to find parallels because nobody breaks it and the harder to find inserts is just a basic base set. And usually they have less decent card stock.
Yeah, it's usually almost like Leaf card stock. Wait, hold on. That's see-through. I'm sorry. My penny sleeve has better card stock than
right.
Anyway, let's move on. 2020 Panini USA Stars and Stripes baseball drops today. $75 a box, 5 packs per box, 8 cards per pack, 5 autos, indoor mem. So you're going to get a hit in every pack. 5 parallels. So it's kind of like Little League. Everybody gets a hit. 100 base cards in a set.
They're still playing Little League.
Yes. They might be. The base checklist includes current national team members as well as alumni from USA Baseball.
Sure.
For autographs for many eligible players for the 2020 draft. This is one of the first products to include their autos. And there's also a Chinese Taipei signature set and Japanese Collegiate All-Star signature set. So that's real cool. Yeah, you have
AAU, 15U, 16U, 17, 18 college, as well as the, like Tim just said, the Chinese Taipei and Japanese Collegiate All-Stars.
So 14 and under national team. These kids are 12, 13 years old.
Born
getting
the year
autograph
I
cards.
graduated high school. Fuck, I'm old.
Yes. Just craziness. Steph, you probably have opened a little bit of this in the past based on the box you sent me recently.
I have. I went a bit nuts in 2015, and then 2017, I was gifted a box or two here or there. Because the guy did gifted by price, I should say, just because the guy couldn't sell it off his shelves. It's nice. You get some really early autos if a player becomes something. I mean, the USA, speaking strictly just on that team because that's what's been in years past, has had some decent players. But this is kind of like a elite extra edition type product where you open it and the guy is 14 and you have to stash it and hope that A, he doesn't get injured, B, he gets drafted, and C, that he still wants to play by the time he hits 18.
Yeah, no, definitely.
21 after college. 22.
Well, that's like at an Elite Extra Edition, like, I don't know, it must have been 12. I had a Kevin Biggio auto.
Yep.
And he just sat in a box until he debuted last year.
Yeah, this is a good product for people that are looking to speculate because there are a lot of 15, 16, 17-year-olds that are included. So it's, as Jackson had said about some of the silver stuff, these are rainy day cards.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if a product like this kind of flies under the radar over the next month or two, assuming that the hobby is impacted from a fiscal aspect. If this coronavirus does continue and people kind of pull back some of their buying, this could be an under the radar set that you might be able to scoop up for a lot less over the next couple of months for those out there that like to speculate. It's already to me a good speculator based product, but at the same time, it is collegiate. So, the valuation compared to rookie cards is considerably less.
Well, the reason I think it does probably a little bit better is due to the fact that guys are all wearing Team USA uniforms.
Right.
So it harkens back to that 85 top set.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, I noticed, I believe there's only one Oakland A Logan Allen on there. How much of it am I going to pursue? Probably none personally, because it's not an Oakland A's card. But at the same time, I found myself buying a Matt Chapman one out of Donruss this year. So,
sure.
But he's an established player, so I have a little bit of a different connection with him. But Tim and I were at the card show a year or two ago when found a Matt Olson Under Armour auto.
That was like early last year.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a product like this. Some of it's fun especially if you're a player collector. There's some good stuff in this. But if you can find it at the right price, and if it does end up getting negatively impacted in sales, and you end up seeing it on one of the Black Friday sales for super cheap, it's probably not the worst product.
Well, one of the guys I know I'm going to collect is on the 15 and under team, Spencer Butt. Spencer Butt. Also, 2019-2020 Panini Impeccable basketball drop today. $1,240 a box, 1 pack per box, 9 cards per pack, 5 autos, and 1 silver, gold, or stainless stars insert. It's a 180 card base set. This set focuses primarily on on-card autographs. According to Ryan Cracknell, the Elegance rookie jersey autographs are the cornerstone of the product, with on-card autographs with a swatch that is limited to a prime jersey piece and or patch. Impeccable victories and autographs insert set that highlights big wins from specific games. And then debuting this year, canvas creation autographs and extravagance autographs as well. Obviously it's crazy priced because of, Zion and Jaw, but these stainless and gold and silver cards, these metal cards are super popular as well. They kind of have a color burst behind them, like smoke and paint, which is pretty awesome. Kind of looks like our intro. I just noticed that the beginning of our intro right there. So it gives it a good look. I mean, the price is incredible for 9 cards, $1,300, and that's if you can find and get your hands on it. It's a good looking product. It's a higher end product. So I don't know. It is basketball collected, I guess. I don't know. I just don't know what these. I don't even know anymore. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't know what's going on with basketball collecting. I don't even know. I had my all Saturday planned out, and now I'm just like, I'm probably have to work in the yard.
Check this out. Me too, because we were talking.
Pretty disappointed now.
We're talking about laying some concrete in the backyard over a small patch up against the house, and I told Heather, "You get it started, and I'll come in Sunday morning and kind of help." And now that we don't have a card show to go to,
I was laying some. By the way, I was going to say about laying some pipe anyway. But did you see Richard Marks on Twitter today?
Oh, beautiful. What a legend. Yeah.
Some guy clowns him like, hey, what music did you make? And he's like, the music your girl used to before she met you.
I'd say this much, man. I had responded to that saying that Richard killed that guy with one tweet. And it got like 400 likes, man. My Twitter was blown up all day.
That was awesome. I was like, I love you, Richard Marks. Like, I couldn't tell you a song you sung, but I know you were popular in the 80s, and I probably have heard your music. But you went OJ on that guy. You were Aaron Hernandez, that dude on the internet.
He had a great bit because he wrote a couple of the NSYNC songs in the 90s, and he was doing a concert, and he had JC Chazé with him. And he's telling a story about how the NSYNC used to have to be snuck into the studio. And this girl grabs him as he's going in, and she goes, "You're Richard Marks, aren't you?" And he goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God, my mom loves you." And he's like, "Thanks."
That's funny.
Speaking of the 90s and pop culture, where did my window, this one, trying to stay away from COVID-19.
Gotta love the juice. You gotta love the juice.
That's horrible.
In tweets that shouldn't have been sent.
Right.
But
Also this week,
nobody's ever said that guy is a smart one.
Yeah.
Right.
Also this week, 2019 Panini Contenders Optic Football, $140 a box, one pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 2 autographs, 1 will be on cards, 1 insert, 1 parallel, 2 base. It's a 198 card base set with no card 101. I don't know why. There are quite a few RPS cards without parallels or base cards. So I don't know, like guys, certain guys have cards. Like I look at the checklist, like some guys have some guys don't have others. It's really strange. It's a chromed out version of Contenders. Rookie and autographs are the chase and the release. Look for die cut supernova cards. I mean, this is just a rehash. I mean, it's Optic. I mean, they just took Contenders and they put it in Optic juice. And there it is. It's football.
Your complaint.
What's up?
If you guys will indulge me for Contenders in general. Some of the cards look nice, but if you're going to do a variation, denote it on the back. Because from what I can tell for this year's Contenders, football or basketball or whatever, the variations are like, this is a different color. Just that border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Contenders, to me, has always been rather plain, so I don't mind a chromium Optic version. But much like Donruss and Donruss Optic, why not just have it in the same collection? You know, same set. Especially, it's just I hate these separate releases, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's goofy. We're gonna move on because it's basketball. And like I said, basketball's.
You mean football?
Football. I'm sorry. Yeah, football. Sorry, we got basketball in the brain. Football's.
Yeah.
So 2019-2020 Upper Deck AHL Hockey dropped today. $48 a box, 12 packs per box, 10 cards per pack.
Not sure what happened there.
You have 2 autos per box and 10 AHL Impact inserts, 90 card base set. Prospects to look for: Drake Batherson, Igor Shesterkin, and Moritz Seider. Yeah. Upper Deck's been producing these cards since 14-15. So it's a junior league version of hockey. And we talked about this last year.
Yeah, it's like the AAA for hockey, except they really only have one outside of college once they're signed. The impact cards kind of look nice in that they got a little blur effect going on. And being the minor league product for hockey, so to speak, it's kind of nice to see like Bakersfield Condors or Grand Rapids Griffins. Not everything's a Detroit or a Montreal or a far-off league.
Yeah. Oh, so it's cool.
Kind of
so
nice
check that out. And also check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these new releases.
Where's the checklist?
What's brewing? Next week's releases: 2020 Topps Inception Baseball, 2019-2020 Upper Deck SPX Hockey, and 2020 Topps XFL Football. Woo! It was funny because someone said that Seattle and Chicago in the XFL are playing, or Seattle and Dallas were playing in the front of no fans in Seattle, and somebody said, "Well, what's different?" You know what? So we'll hop in Infield Chatter, a hobby talk section of the show. Hobby Hotline promo this week, live this Saturday on YouTube Periscope at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. Dan Anderson from Mojo Break will make his debut. Val Mars from NASCAR Radio and Drew Herndon from Let Me Get the Potograph will be on there. Very exciting. So Hobby Hotline will not. I think this is one of the first shows that none of us are on.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and that's the thing, Tim. You and I weren't on specifically because we had a card show to go to, so we were unavailable. And now I would give anything to be able to be on because I don't want to do yard work.
Yeah.
So
yes. So anyway, check it out. I might pop in. Hell, I'm going to be up.
Hey.
I might pop in and say, "What's up?"
Might have
a caller.
Might want to see Dan's opinion on how this new NBA being suspended temporarily might affect the box breaking industry.
Yes.
So anybody's out there, they would like to call into the hobby hotline. That might be a good question for Dan.
And Dan is awesome. Like, if you've not listened to Dan talk, he always, no matter what, if he believes in one thing or the other, he might just take the other side just for fun, just to be devil's advocate on stuff, and it's great. So he's never looking. Oh,
all right. You want to cut Steph's mic off?
Yeah, there we go, Steph.
And Dan's usually
earthquake.
Dan's pretty level-headed until that whole shtick happened with the whole Mojo Break. That guy called himself Mojo, whatever, and then Dan got fired up, and I was like, "Whoa, doggy!"
Yeah, no, he got a little humped, and someone called him a blowhard. So, yeah, I don't know. He was wearing a shirt a couple weeks ago that said, blowhard, and then they were talking about, anyway, it's funny. Phil Hughes, PSA fraudster? No. Yankees legend Phil Hughes tweeted out, if Steph can pull it up here, I think it was right after the show last week. It was a couple cards he'd sent into PSA, and one was a Topps Chrome Mini of Luis Urias, Steph's boy, of the Twins rookie card that he sent in to get graded, and it came back with this funkiness on it, and it's a PSA sticker, and it says on it says mini size RQ. And it comes back required. Yes. And it basically came back as failing because it didn't work in their scan. He sent a follow-up tweet. Good news, PSA has implemented a system or machine to determine if a card is too small or has been altered. Bad news, the cards are perfectly fine, but they're getting flagged. He also had like a $10 hockey card that he sent in, and they said it was altered. And he's like, it's got a dinged corner. If I was going to alter the card, wouldn't I have altered the dinged corner?
Well, and that's what the tag here says for this Topps Chrome update, not mini, is that their system or computer or whatever scanned it, detected it, and said, "Hey, this isn't quite 100% accurate. Return it, kick it back. It's been altered." Well, that's what you get when you have a computer doing everything. You're going to have errors and mistakes, unfortunately.
Yeah. But don't you think the person that packed it up should just maybe looked and seen it, or they know they need to? I don't know. It's asking somebody to be smarter at the job than they are. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up. If you're not watching Phil's polls,
He's got some good ones.
video. They're fun. He's entertaining, and I love to see what he opens. He's always opening some crazy high end stuff, and he's just got boxes. It's neat. It's a fun poll or a fun watch. So if you're bored. So Michael Daly, aka is Tim Lincecum. I didn't know if you guys knew this. A Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania man was busted last week for an online scam that netted a large collection of signed sports memorabilia. Pennsylvania State Police and Ferns Ridge State Police Fern Ridge Barracks were recently contacted by Carroll County Sheriff's office in Westminster, Maryland, in regards to an alleged phone scam that counted at least one National Football League player as a victim. The unidentified player stated that he was contacted by a verified Twitter account with handle MLB Pitcher. The two began, it was an MLB pitcher with the verified handle. The two had been conversing via text message, and the MLB pitcher requested game-used jerseys for a terminally ill cousin whose dying wish was to supposedly receive the athlete's jersey. The player mailed 2 game-worn jerseys to the address. Shortly thereafter, the athlete's agent found the game-worn jerseys for sale online and contacted law enforcement officials. They went out and took a look at the residence, and the police reported the various pieces of memorabilia, including NFL jerseys, cleats, gloves, bats, hats, pictures, and Major League Baseball jerseys, baseballs, cards, World Wrestling, entertainment, championship belts, and other items signed by professional athletes were seized during the execution of the warrant. Michael Daly, 24. That's a 24-year-old man. Okay. Life's been tough, Mike. Was charged with second-degree felony count of theft by deception, a third-degree felony count of unlawful use of a computer, and a first-degree misdemeanor count of identity theft. He was booked and set on $25,000 bail. So an update. I found an update on Yahoo Sports, and I think it goes back to TMZ. Tim Lincecum is the man of mystery. Former Giants pitcher is a bit of a recluse, and social media is the last place you'll find him. If only Baltimore Ravens tight end Hayden Hurst knew that. Former Pirates minor leaguer. TMZ Sports reported Monday that a man posing to be Lincecum scammed Hurst out of autographed gear. According to TMZ's reports, Hurst told Monroe County PA cops in May of 2019 he was contacted by a Twitter account he believed was owned by the former Giants star. Hurst said the account had a blue check mark and the fake Lincecum asked for signed memorabilia for charity donation. And he did, and that's who it was. Ended up being this balding 24-year-old Michael Daly, who looks like he's probably 35 or 40 in the photo. Not judging somebody by their looks, but he does look like somebody that would scam you.
Certainly.
So, poor Timmy Lynn, Timmy got caught up unwillingly.
Similarly-ish from your favorite uncle.
Uncle Rich.
No,
by the way, real quick, changed his Twitter darkened nickname to Uncle Rich. After I've been calling that for a few years.
No. One of the owners of the ownership group that owns Beckett's got busted by a wire talking to a political who knows, essentially saying, hey, if you do what I want you to do, here's some money on the side.
Oh, I know that happened. Did he go to jail yet?
There was an update. According to March 5th, 2020, Global Growth Chairman George Vandeman stated that Mike Causey lied to the FBI and demanded illegal donations from Greg Lindbergh. Vandeman stated, we respect the jury's decision. We absolutely believe that these verdicts are contrary to the evidence the jury only saw a portion of the case was about.
Interesting. Well, we're going to get into this because we're going to talk a little bit more about lawsuits and
to follow.
Trademarks. So Topps, we talked about this on the Hobby Hotline this weekend, but real quick, I wanted to touch on our show. Topps filed for the trademark protection of the phrase one of one for trading cards. Paul Lesko basically said there is really no way that this could happen. He did research on eBay and found 150,000 cards with the description one of one. Plus, even if they got through the trademark office, he believes that one of the other companies would come back and say, hey, they can't do this. This is a function. It's functional, and you cannot trademark something that's functional. He said, my favorite tweet of this whole spiel he went on was, unless this filing is to solely prevent eBay sellers from calling every freaking card in the world of one. Look, it's number 23 of 5,000. That's a player's number, so a true one of one. If so, I apologize for this, and this filing is a thing of beauty. So I wanted to get Ben's thoughts on this and see what you thought.
We're all in agreement. I mean, as soon as Paul sent that first tweet out, I was like, there's no way, right? You can't have a trademark on literally a number, right? What's to stop Panini from then countersuing, saying, well, we'll have one of two. Every number is a one of one in its own right. If you want to argue, 23 out of 299 is a one of one in that sense. They're trying to trademark the word one of one, the numerical, the written out word. What are they trying to do? It's ludicrous that they would think about that, but I think we would all start a GoFundMe for their legal fees if it meant preventing eBay sellers from using eBay one of one. Yeah. Because then we would also say, Topps, please attach fire, rare, vintage, wow, and non-auto, short print, which gets convoluted because you type in Topps opening day short print and then all the red foil parallels from Target are going to pop up because those ones are being labeled as short prints. And it's like, where does it end? And how much did they pay to file for this? Because what a waste of money.
Yeah.
But
so it's just craziness. I just thought I'd bring it up because Steph and I talked about this on Saturday, but wanted Ben's opinion. Upper Deck versus Leaf. We talked about. So I think the reason why Topps went after they did this is because Upper Deck suing Leaf, Panini suing Upper Deck, Panini's and Leaf are going back, and all three of those companies are just beating on each other. And Topps is sitting over here we're not doing anything. We need some legal stuff out there. But Upper Deck is suing Leaf. Paul Lesko put out also in the Leaf Upper Deck filings. Leaf objected to 4 Upper Deck duly disclosed trial witnesses: John Gerba, Donald Fear, Ryan, and Colin Tennards. Leaf wants them excluded from the trial. Sports Card Radio was all about this. They Colin did a little Periscope video yesterday. They posted on their website. Sports Card Radio called to testify. Leaf's trading card objects. Hear ye, Honorable Upper Deck Trading Card Company is seeking the expert testimony of Sports Card Radio owners Colin and Ryan Tennards in Upper Deck's prolonged court battle with rival company Leaf Trading Cards. The Tennards twins could be the key to knocking out CEO Brian Gray forever. In a dramatic response, lawyers for Leaf Trading Cards are seeking to block the expert testimony of the sports card podcasting moguls. Only a judge can decide what will happen next. Stay tuned for exclusive updates on Sports Card Radio. Adjourned. I love the post. I love this. I hope they get in there and they can testify. I would find out where this was and I would try to go. This pay-per-view it. This would be awesome to help Brian Gray pay for these legal funds.
I watched it, actually, part of it, whatever would stream on my way home today, and I was going to tweet out, guys, I'm an American. Signed, Colin Tennard, because it's like, dude, it was a great line from there. Now, I would have been a little cautious if I was him because I know they wrote a piece of it as well. I'd be careful with something like that if you were subpoenaed or, you're on the list to be very careful with what you say before the lawsuit, because if you really do want to go and be involved and you don't want the judge to dismiss you as a character witness, you don't want to do anything that Brian could present to you and say, hey, look at what these guys are out there doing. And this is why I think they're obviously biased, but
Well, I think they've just been mean about Brian, and he's a Hertz kid in the schoolyard.
I'm sure.
And that's really what it breaks down to. And he's bullied other people, but when he gets bullied, he backs down and pulls the card. Teacher.
One thing I think most of us would agree with when it comes to Brian, and I've had interactions with Brian. I don't know him personally. I've never met him personally. But I think as far as Leaf goes, most of us would agree that the majority of what Leaf does, specifically Brian, if we were in charge of Leaf, if we owned Leaf, if we were the CEO of Leaf, we would do the exact opposite of what Brian does in most cases. First off, we wouldn't be running the company out of the back of our Toyota Corolla. You know, we wouldn't be running it out
allegedly.
Ford Taurus. Okay, we wouldn't be running it out of our garage. Now, if you want to run a self-sustaining hobby out of your garage, and you want to, you know, buy lots of cards and sell them on sport lots and eBay out of your garage, cool. But if you want to have a major brand, not something you also want to do out of your garage. But
what's your Apple?
Brian might be a nice guy, but we've talked about it before. He needs to stop with his Twitter rants because, again, if it's Ben versus Tim versus Steph on Twitter, I get into a lot of debates and discussions, you know, newsflash, breaking news. I get into a lot of debates on Twitter, but I'm just Ben. I'm not a representative and CEO of a major card manufacturer because if I was, I would handle things considerably different, especially once people know who I was, right?
Sure.
It's like now you're representing a company with the face of the company. You know, the way I handle myself on Twitter is different than the way I handle myself on LinkedIn, right?
Right.
Well,
you got to know your market. And Brian and I mean, how many times has he deleted his entire account now? What do we have to do?
Tweets or whatever? Yeah,
double digits, triple digits.
So it's funny to me. PSA is saving trees starting Wednesday, April 1st. I'm not looking forward to that day, fellas. PSA will. I might not be on the show that day.
What's happening on April 1st?
Let's just say that Bob Barker would be very happy.
Snip, snip.
4-year anniversary of my shoulder getting surgery.
Yeah.
Having
not the same thing, Steph.
Well,
starting Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, PSA will no longer accept paper carbon copy submission forms for orders involving cards, tickets, packs, dual service authentication, and grading requests. Like most PSA collectors are doing already, you'll be required to enter your order information online and print out a completed copy correspondence submission form. The change applies to mail-in submissions as well as in person. It shows as well. The decades-old practice of accepting paper submission forms has significantly slowed down operations and added to the company's growing backlog, said PSA President Steve Sloan. To help speed the entering process and cut down on unnecessary paper waste, we are now requiring card, beginning next month. So it's just interesting. I mean, they finally realized like a 20-year-old, 30-year-old process was probably not the best way, and making people actually go online and doing this was a lot more functional. It just scares me that they were still using carbon copies and like CPO type documents to take submissions. Like, what year are you in, dude? It should be all online. There should be zero paper with this, except for when you mail it in, maybe you print out the confirmation of this is the grading order number,
right? And
that's it. I don't know.
Well, it's nice to see them catch up to Web 2.0 in time for 3.0.
So,
4.0.
Anywho, I just thought it was an interesting point of view, and they're still backlogged like a year. I'm glad to see CRT Sports Cards hopped in. Evening, everybody's a little late, but that's cool. Perfect timing. Hold or sell. So Chris Torres asked last week on Twitter at CRT_sportscards. I have a completed 2018 Topps update gold parallel set, but I'm curious on what you would do with this set. Would you sell it now, or would you hold it short term or go long term? I put the set together from cases that I opened and then trading, so I have very little into the set. It's got the rookie cards of Soto, Acuna, Torres, and Ohtani's pitching rookie. What would you do? Steph, You have this gold, beautiful update set that you've pieced together for very low cost to yourself. You don't have much into it, and it's probably really hot right now. The fact that Soto base rookies are going for like 140, Acuna's going for, I don't know, like what, 300 graded now. Something's just stupid. What would you do if you had this gold set sitting around?
I stash it and hold on to it for a rainy day. That's a very nice set. A couple top rookies. I mean, we don't know how the sports world's going to go on. Presumably, everything kicks back up and resumes as normal, whether it's delayed or what. But you won't have any issues selling that set. So why not at least try to maximize what you're going to get? Maybe protect it better outside of a gold box.
Penny sleeve them all.
Penny sleeve them all, or top loader them all, get them graded, all of them. We used to know a guy that went to one of our shops here that said that for a good couple of years there, from 2001 until whatever year, he collected the base gold parallel number when that was one of the only parallels you could get. He said he still has them, held on to them, just because he knows if and when he needs to, he can sell it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with anything, right? Whenever somebody's like, should I sell this today? You know, our friend Mark Hoyle had asked, I think he tagged all of us in the show with what was it, the 09 Bowman Chrome trout or Bowman trout.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need the money, there's nothing wrong with holding on to it to see if it can be sold for a higher price. If that's your ultimate motivation, if you're after maximizing, I doubt Chris Torres is hurting for money. I doubt it's going to affect whether or not he can feed himself and his wife next week, next month, next year, whether or not he sells this. So with that being said, why not hold on to it for a while? It's not really going to depreciate in value. It's always going to be a sought-after set. If he lists it on eBay right now at a 7-day auction, it's going to sell. If he waits a month, 6 months, a year from now and lists it, it's going to sell. It does depend on a lot of different variables in the economy and the hobby as to whether or not it's going to sell for X versus Y versus Z, but he's going to get a healthy price for it no matter when he sells it. And again, at the end of the day, being stuck with it's not the worst thing in the world, right? No. So hold on to it for a while. If you ever got, desperate for money, it's definitely nice to have.
Maybe like Mariners World Series tickets.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he's all right.
I've asked you this question before, Ben. Like, hey, like I'm sitting on and this was 6 months ago. Hey, I'm sitting on 20 something Acuna update rookies. Do I sell one or two?
Yeah.
And your question back to me is like, well, do you need to sell them? I was like, well, no. He goes, well, why are you doing it then?
Yeah.
Why? You don't have to.
Just you bought those for what, $1 or $2 a piece, right?
$2.
Okay, so you have $40 invested in it, whatever you want to call, right? Your investment is your out of pocket cost today, right? You're
Did you say I invested in cards though?
I did.
Steph, note the timestamp on that, and let's cut that. Ben's talking about investing in cards.
I was scratching my foot on my table. I invested in sushi this afternoon, which was not a good idea.
Was it from a gas station?
It wasn't. It was actually from a high-end restaurant that my employers bought for the entire company. But yeah, sushi's gross. I invested in it, and so anyway, but you're spending $40 to speculate that it might go up to $80, $120 as a lot. Is that $40 the difference between you making your mortgage payment or not? You're always going to be able to get your $40 out of it. And the bottom line is if you cut it in half, you'll get $1 a piece for them at the very least, right? So you'll get half your money back at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think when we were having that conversation, you said they were selling for around $20 each.
Yeah.
So, are you ever going to be able to get $20 ultimately? Maybe not. Maybe that was the high end. Maybe right now they're selling for considerably higher. It's like it's like the stock market, right? Everybody wants so quick to say stocks. Cards go up and down. Stocks go up and down. Everything goes up and down. Gas prices go up and down. It's all relative. They're not commodities. This entire industry is set on a house of cards. You don't invest in cards. Why? Because cards are not investment mediums. Will they appreciate? Yeah. Will they depreciate? Yeah. In light of today's events and the events of over the last couple of weeks with the S&P index going up and down, guess what's going to happen? A lot of cards are going to tank over the next couple of weeks. If you don't have to sell it, don't sell it, unless you're heavily invested. And that's really what happens is you get certain people out there saying invest, invest, invest. Okay. If you're heavily vested in this, not invested in this, vested in this. In other words, you have a lot of money and personal capital wrapped up. You might have to move it at a loss to be able to cash out. But for folks like Chris, like you, Tim, that don't have a lot of money vested in it, why move it?
Yeah.
Is it going to benefit your bottom line? Are you going to not be able to feed your 2 children tomorrow and next week because you didn't move your pile of Acuñas? Because, wait. Wait a while.
Well, and that's the interesting part too, because he followed it up with how about a 2019 Topps Series 1 complete gold set?
My advice to Chris, I would hold. We just
hold your gold.
Go ahead and read what he said.
He responded back to it. He said, "I have under $100 in the set. I took it down for sale after having a $1,250 offer on it. That is why I posed the question, as I felt I would regret moving it now." I agree. I think you should hold it. I think you should hold the gold Series 119 set as well.
See, and think about this: if you take your wife, Chris, out to dinner tonight, a nice dinner, even if it's something like a Chili's or an Applebee's, a larger chain restaurant, you order 2 meals and a couple of drinks, alcoholic beverages, and an appetizer, you're $50 in, right?
Right.
You go out to a movie afterward, there's $25. Buy some popcorn and soda, there's your $100. You've literally spent $100 on a nice evening and a memory with your significant other. Fantastic. Obviously, you could afford to do that, or you would not have. So point being, if you're vested in this for $100 and you could literally get a 12X on it right now, awesome. But you only need to get 100% of your money back. You just need a $100 bill at some point in order to break even, and you will always be able to get your $100 back out of it.
Oh yeah, in worst case scenario, it's never going to get down that low.
Right.
I mean,
you get $600 out of it.
That's like $350 a card.
Yeah. So anyway, it was an interesting question. I thought I'd pose it out there. I think a lot of people are saying, agreement here. But I have a question. What's the next wave of cards become popular? In baseball, it was always the first Bowman Chrome autos, right? So when you were going after the prospect or you're collecting baseball, that was like the go-to auto of a guy. Well, when people got priced out of those, when the average collector couldn't go out and buy a Harper first Bowman Chrome auto or a Trout or whoever it might be, then they moved to the base versions. Well, now people are getting priced out of that. Colin did a podcast recently where he talked about how, back in, even like 11, 12, 13, 14, you were able to get Stars first Bowman Chrome cards for $1 or $2. Now, unknown guys that aren't even in the top 100, their first Bowman cards are $4 or $5. And so now if you're getting priced out of the base first Bowman cards, people are moving to Topps flagship rookies. Well, what happens in baseball? What's the next baseball card when base collectors, like middle average everyday collectors, are getting priced out of flagship base rookie cards? What are they going to go to? The Rookie All-Star Cup card? Are they going to go to opening day? I mean, where do you go?
So speaking strictly in terms of baseball, because that's what I'm most,
and that's why
I think all 3 of us to really deal with.
Yeah.
Once you have the auto out, once you have the update and/or base card out of the way, Topps Chrome's not a bad option.
But what I'm saying is you can't afford the Topps flagship
any rookie.
Yeah. So because the flagship rookie's outpriced. And so that way I would include the Chrome rookie. I would include the Bowman Chrome rookie card that would come out. I'm saying that those big ones are out of there. Like you can't. because that base rookie card's now $25 or $50.
Okay. So, case in point, Alex Gordon's 06
Yeah.
that not everybody can afford. You go Rookie Cup and you go with the last card with the team. Would be my argument, because presumably they stay with your team for a while. You want that last card, and the Rookie Cup. All the rest are mostly filler.
Yeah. I mean, what would you do, Ben?
This hobby's so hard to predict. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, who knows what the minds are? It just seems like right now everybody's so heavily influenced by whatever somebody says, and the biggest voice in the room wins. So I honestly,
that would be me.
Yeah. But
I'm not the voice of the collector. I'm the voice of the investor.
That's right. Right.
New Twitter account if you guys want to make it. You have my permission.
I know. I was arguing with the sports card investor that knucklehead the other day, and I was like, don't you mean you're the sports card speculator? Because that's really what this hobby has become. Yeah. It's not investing. None of this is investing. It's all speculation.
It's like oil.
It really is. I mean,
it's not like stocks. It's like drilling for oil.
You're looking to buy something that you can do. Everybody knows me. I'm not a big fan of Gary V. But the other day he's like, invest in this today and flip it next week. I'm like, that's not an investment. That is a flip. That is speculating. I'm going to pay $100 today and speculate that I'm going to flip it for $150 next week.
Yeah.
And
investment. Like the word speculate. It's better than invest.
If I invest, I'm going to buy something for $100 today, and I'm going to hope that it appreciates over 2, 3, 5 years, right? That's why there are things in place. If I buy real estate, right, which is commonly related to capital gains, if I buy it, you fall under these laws for a 2-year window. Did you live in this home? Did you own it for 2 years? Because you're not allowed to make a profit off of it within a 24-month window. And you're speculating. Understand something. If you buy something for $20 and you sell it immediately for $100, under capital gains collectible laws, you got to report the $80. Just like if you buy it for 20 and sell it for 10, you can report it as a loss. Nobody's saying to report it on your taxes necessarily, but theoretically you should. Legally you should. And you're speculating. That's all you're doing, right? You're spinning the roulette wheel. I'm going to drop a $20 bill on this spin of the roulette wheel. Let's see Black 21 come up.
Yeah. No, I just think, and so, and I did a little Periscope video the other day, and it was with all the new basketball releases flying off shelves and prices of hobby and retail exploding. What's the next chase? I mean, 90, the 80s Fleer has really been priced up quite a bit. And what's the next basketball card to chase once you're priced out of, the current releases, or like 80s Fleer, which is really popular, said. And my thing is I went over the 92, 93 draft class with Shaq and Zoe all the way through the 98, 99 class that had Dirk and Nash and those guys in there. I mean, Dirk and Paul Pierce, but you had in between Nash and Iverson and Paul Pierce, and you had Chris Webber, Kobe. You had so many guys in those middle draft classes, Grant Hill and Jason Kidd, Hall of Fame players. And I think that's people are going to go back to that spot in time and collecting and look, because there were some beautiful inserts and parallels of cards done at that point in time. I think that's where people go back with basketball. We'll see what happens there.
I think,
go ahead, Steph.
I think a good one to add to that, unopened. I know many episodes ago, Biggs said that, unopened is severely underappreciated, but I mean, it really is. Yeah, well, because I could buy a Shaq rookie probably $2, $3, $5, $10 graded whatever price. But I can sell you a pack that I can guarantee may be able to say, hey, you might be able to pull it out of this in a better condition.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. Do you think this thirst for basketball will ever be quenched?
It might be after today.
Yeah. The market's
We'll see.
gonna. I would be absolutely shocked if the market doesn't see a precipitous decline over the next couple of weeks, at the very least, because the uncertainty around the future of the NBA. When is it coming back? Is it coming back April 1? Is the season over, but the playoffs are going to resume? Are they going to just call it? Because at some point,
Games.
you know, first off, the owners are going to get reimbursed. They have insurance, so they're not going to really lose any money. You know, guys like Mark Cuban coming out and saying what he said about, you know, paying his hourly employees, I think is phenomenal. And I hope all of them do, because it's got real world effects, right? There are people that are living paycheck to paycheck. You know, security has nobody to protect.
Ticket
Parking
takers
have nobody to. Yeah, there's no tickets to take. There's no popcorn and
beer.
and you know, these are people that are working probably 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, I would imagine. You know, working part-time jobs to augment their household income. And, you know, but the bottom line is we don't know what's going to happen. At some point, these NBA contracts expire. I don't know when they expire, but I would imagine probably July 1st is when they end officially and go into the next new year. I don't know the exact date. So if you start to extend the season beyond the contractual obligations of the players, hey, I'm a free agent and I'm looking at a lucrative market. I'm probably going to leave. Now all of a sudden I'm asked to play for my current team, who may or may not re-sign me.
Yeah.
But I don't have a contract. I'm not going to get injured.
Well, the Players Association wouldn't let that happen either.
Yeah. So you start to run into different complications.
Yeah.
If this were to linger, you're going to see that become an issue. You know, the 2020-2021 season, you know, starts up in September with training camps. You know, the ripple effect, the longer this lingers, and subsequently, you know, you're going to start seeing different industries affected financially, and the socioeconomics come into play. If I lose my job, guess what happens? I'm not buying cards. And if that happens over the course of a lot of different industries, all of a sudden these estimated 7 million, you know, collectors might drop down to 5, down to 4. You start to see, remember, these flippers it's all fine and dandy when you have plenty of buyers to buy up what you're flipping, right? Yeah. But what happens when you're coming in here and you buy up a lot of inventory and you start listing it everywhere and the buyers go away? The sellers are going to go away too. And a lot of people are going to take baths. I hope that doesn't happen. But we've been talking about this bubble bursting for a long time. And a recession might be around the corner. And, you know, good Lord, if this continues to happen, we might be looking not at a recession, but a depression. It's possible. How probable, we don't know, but it's possible.
You know, the thing is that I think the people they'll stand through this are the real collectors, the ones that are doing this because of it's a hobby, it's an enjoyment, it's something, you know, that is a go-to. So we'll see what happens there. Let's finish this off today. 2020 MLB breakout players, if they ever do play the 2020 season, Major League Baseball season, who do we think will be a breakout players? Now, because I know none of us can just pick one, I had us all pick a homer pick and then somebody from another team that's out there. So, Steph, who's your homer pick for breakout player in the 2020 season?
I mean, is there really any other choice than
Torrey Hunter?
My little shit?
Nobody knows who that is because it's a gallery card.
They should. It's Nick's card. Who took the photo? No, Luis Rise. High on base, high average, doesn't strike out at all.
Nice. Who's your other team? Who's your other breakout star this year?
So when you posed this, I kind of wanted to know whether you meant like breakout in that the going from good to great or going from unknown to good.
And I said either one.
And you said either one, so I kind of left both of mine because when I looked, you hadn't addressed that. But Andrew Benintendi, Ben Nintendo, or Dansby Swanson. One was kind of a prospect for a while, kind of fell off most radars. I like what they're doing in Atlanta. And Ben Nintendi has all the room in the world with Betts now out of Boston to prove himself.
I liked your picks, all three of them around. Not shabby there. All right, Benjamin, who was your Homer Athletic pick? Dallas Braden?
It was, if this was 2009. I went with Frankie Montas. I obviously he was like 7-2 with a 3 ERA around the time that he got suspended last year.
For what?
For performance enhancing. It was just a supplement. But I love that he had full transparency on that. And he's like, dude, had I known, I wouldn't have taken it. I don't think he was trying to cheat, but that's not for me to say. But I think he's going to have a really solid year. I was going to go with one of the rookies in Luzardo, Puck, Murphy. I don't think Murphy's going to get more than probably 120 games due to his recent rash of injuries. Puck and Luzardo are probably going to be on Steven Strasburg type pitch counts. Sure. So I don't think this would be the year, but I think Montas, a non-homer pick, I went with Eugenio Suarez of the Reds. I think some of his numbers were inflated last year because of the live ball. So let's assume that there's a market correction for him. But think about this. He's got a really good pitching staff, right? You now have Moustakas, you have Castellanos. They've brought in other players that can pick up some of that protection.
You still have Joey Votto.
If Votto bounces back, he's had a decline over the last 2 years. So either we saw a rapid decline with him but again, he's had to shoulder a lot in Cincinnati for years. Yep. So now that lineup is a lot deeper 1 through 8. And I think Suarez, even if we see a decline in his overall numbers, I think it's going to be relative to his production will be relative to his comps.
Yeah. Well, my homer pick was Alberto Mondesi, a.k.a. Raul Mondesi Jr. His average has gone up the last couple of years. He's a base stealer. And he plays some good defense. With all of the youngsters playing shortstop, this is kind of like the superstar position, in baseball. A lot of people said that he has Fernando Lindor type skills. I just don't think they've all come together. He debuted, and it took him a couple years to fully stick in Major League Baseball. But I think this year he's set for some big things. My other pick was Austin Riley, who came up last year with the Braves, gangbuster, just smashing home runs. They actually kind of figured him out a little bit. He's going to probably get a lot more opportunity to play as he was playing in the outfield. I think he's a natural third baseman. And with Josh Donaldson moving on to the Twins, he's going to have an opportunity to play some third, some outfield, and possibly even some first for Freeman, maybe even DH. So with his bat in the lineup, with the other guys they have there and the kids coming up, I think he's primed for a really nice year. And I think a lot of people are sitting on him because he didn't finish like he started. Sure. So it's one of those things to watch for. So that's our show tonight, guys. We had a great interview. It was great to have Jackson on talking basketball. There's a lot of unknown and breaking news happened like an hour before we went live. So I don't know what's next week going to look like. We're on the show. What the hell are we going to? I mean, we're going to talk sports cards, obviously, but how are these real world implications going to follow up? We don't know. We'll talk about it next week. But guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
Not that I can think of. Ben,
What's that?
I said, Ben, feed your fish.
Why? He's all right. I haven't changed the water in a month, dude. He's still alive and kicking.
All right. Well, remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Periscope. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. We appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at our trading cards. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. Follow me, Big Shep, at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories, great pulls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting, and we'll see y'all next week.
See you guys then.